flag and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, welcome one and all. Those here, and we've got one person online. Okay. This is the February 10th meeting of the Town of Canandaigua Planning Board. The agenda isn't too bad tonight, thank goodness. So we'll go through it as published. I should announce that we have a legal notice we had to publish for the hearing tonight regarding the subdivision on Grimble Road. So that was published in the Daily Messenger on February the 3rd. And introductions, let me get through. Dan, he's our Director of Development. He's with us this evening. Thanks for showing up. Kristen is on the keyboard tonight. Okay. Jay Palermo is our alternate planning board member. Tim Schneider, planning board member. Mark Tolbert, and planning board member. Amanda Van Laken, PB member. And Bob LaCourse, our vice chairman. I'm Chuck Euler, the chairman. And where did my name tag? There it is. And Chris Nadler, our attorney. We gave our engineer the night off. Kareem, most important. What would we know it would happen if we didn't have Kareem here? Okay, let's get right into it. Anyone here or out there want to address the board regarding an issue that's not on the agenda tonight under our privilege of the floor? Okay, if not, we'll move on to the first item on the agenda, which is CPN 2025-139. Anthony Venezia representing property owner at 6265 Grimble Road. It is a 3-lot subdivision. And I will open the public hearing. Anthony, tell us a little bit about what's happening.
It's pretty straightforward lot subdivision. Well, it should have been, should I say. So we came in for a 2-lot subdivision originally. We were basically cutting the north section off from the south. During the process of applying for the subdivision, a lot line revision came into the planning development office and created there was a single lot that was here along the frontage. Our main lot kind of U-shaped around it with the north part connecting. They did a lot line revision at the same time. They took this whole parcel and brought it all the way to the south property, inherently cutting off these two. The only reason that it was not considered a major subdivision was because we saw the connection across the north side. So now, because we're cutting the north side off, it turns the 2-lot subdivision to a 3-lot subdivision. So there'll be the parcel on the southwest, southeast, and then the largely north parcel that will be sold. There's been a purchase offer on it. So the plan is just cut them off, keep all the uses the same. Nothing's changing at this moment.
What will be the uses? Do you know?
The guy, my client, the one that's purchasing the north piece, is just using it for. And there's a lot of encumbrances on the property due to wetlands and slopes and things of that nature. So right now it's just staying the way it is. It's being used. So probably do some, low grade deer farming activities and use it for hunting.
And the other
south parcel, the southeast has a house and some barns on it. It's going to stay the same. And then the southwest parcel, I'm not sure. It wasn't really the plan was to have the 3, but because of that lot line revision, it separated those 2 lots, and we had to do an official subdivision.
Look at a question. Why wouldn't that have come to the planning board having created separation?
Because it was a lot line revision and it still had contiguous frontage across it. So technically it didn't have to come to it. Just a lot line revision. Now that we're separating the north side off and creating those 2 south lots, that's what happened. Just because it was cut off by
just the fact that you've separated 2 parcels is concerning to me as a planning board.
Right.
Because what's left of the frontage that you have on that left parcel cannot support a driveway safely.
You got a variance, didn't you?
We did get a variance. There's an existing farm lane that goes up through there.
Yeah.
So,
Well, there's a farm lane,
correct.
but that's not a driveway.
Understood.
And it's severely deficient.
The only way to do this is to do the subdivision, to cut that north side off. There's no other options, to be totally honest.
So this is one of those ones that I think everyone kind of pretty much agrees with you. The code isn't written for that, though. It was so the farm lane is not sufficient to support that parcel there. But when it was done, without coming to this point, it had the entire north parcel
Didn't need it.
attached to it. So it had plenty of frontage, way more than the minimum required frontage. So it fell under what is legally a lot line adjustment. The
Well,
planning
this
board
is a
chair.
circumstance where we're left with potentially creating a non-buildable lot. And
Well, so it has a variance that
Technically-
makes it a buildable lot now.
Technically, it's been
variance.
filed and that parcel technically exists.
who gave the variance?
There's
It's
also
only
planning
fine.
board.
For the frontage.
Back in January.
In the package.
Okay.
I thought
I will go on
Tim, I
record.
thought your concern was the site distance.
So the concern is the site.
Okay, well, that's another issue.
And you created a lot that is gonna create an unsafe condition on the roadway. And that goes against the subdivision.
It's low.
Mhm.
Well, so what
So
if
the
goes
zoning
against,
board-
so it goes against the site plan code.
No,
And so if and
No.
when, well,
subdivision.
okay, well, if and when they came in for a site plan review, it would also violate site plan regulations, and you have to mitigate or be denied a site plan.
The subdivision, it doesn't meet the subdivision code. 174-15.
I understand.
So that's not for me to accept as a planning board. But the zoning board did this absent of what the subdivision code is.
174-15 is the one having to do with the lot can't be any,
Safe and efficient vehicular pedestrian
Oh.
access.
okay. Okay. If the lot line adjustment did not occur and you still had that U shape on the south side,
Just been a 2-lot subdivision.
it'd been a 2-lot subdivision.
You can zoom out though, I can, there.
Yeah,
If you,
Yeah,
if
I
you
get-
go, if
I
you
guess-
zoom the map out, you can also see there is a color that kind of runs up.
Yep.
The parcels are like they're kind of separate as they are. They use that farmland. They don't go over that stream to get to that. There is like a field back there. So they don't use it. They are using that farm laneway to get in and out. I understand it's not up to town
But if it would-
requirements, but
If it would have been a 2-lot subdivision,
it would have had.
then you had plenty of frontage. And you'd have had one lot, one dwelling unit. And you
Correct.
wouldn't have to worry about anything ever being built on the south side.
Correct. But because of the cutting the north off, it creates that subdivision and the 3 lots.
Does
instead of
the
2.
owner of the lot where the house is, he or she will continue to own that lot?
As of how I understand it now, yes, I don't know if there's anything that's gonna happen. I'm assuming that they will sell it at some point.
Which then becomes the concern that I guess Tim's bringing up. So I know obviously if you read the reviews, yes, Dan?
So there's more to this. Anthony knows a little bit about it because we've talked to him from the developer. I have been working with the owner of the next lot, which is outside of our town.
And Bloomfield, yep.
Jeff, they have a agreement in place to purchase that lot after the subdivision. With the understanding on the deed, it would, because it crosses a municipal boundary, they can't get rid of the parcel, but they want to remove the lot line, so it would be merged into their property, saying that that lot could never be buildable or removed from the lot that's in the next column.
That wasn't for me to say, so I didn't bring it up.
Is there any way we can confirm that in our approval? Regarding that
That
lot two not be developed or?
I would defer to Chris
Yep.
on that.
Say
Absolutely.
additionally, but
I think I heard that's already on there, part of it, lot two is not being developed. I think both of them have conditions on them already in the general notes. But either one should be developed.
That concern was there, especially with the neighbor that wants to buy that property, they do not want to develop it, they want to farm it. We got farming activity, and this will actually take care of, we were trying to get it resolved before the variance, but the process isn't working. So this has to go through first, get it subdivided off, and then we can merge those two.
So why can't we do a lot line adjustment, just like we did for the yard?
Because it crosses a municipal boundary.
Yes, there's municipal rules that we can't, because if we take
And then how
them
would we merge?
by deed, is the only way, yeah, so because.
So the red lines on here are tax parcel account numbers, yes? Or those actual lot lines?
Those are property boundaries, the red.
Oh, so those are, but when we say a lot or a parcel, it's a creation of our tax assessor and the Ontario County Office of Real Property Services that defines how to tax that property. It's also really convenient for defining what a property is. What the property actually is, though, is defined by Anthony as a licensed surveyor. And it could be 50 parcels crossing 10 municipal boundaries. There might be lot lines or parcel boundaries that define different taxable parcels, but the actual property is defined by deed based on the surveyor's legal description. So what you want is
there is
Dan
a
just
condition
described.
says this.
It's still gonna be a lot line because it
Yeah,
has
I
to be
think that,
for taxation purposes.
yeah, it's
Except
in there, yeah.
We have lots all the time between like the city and the town of
Gotta make
Canandaigua
it
where you have
on the plan.
half of it's in the city and half of it's in the town. You can't build the house on city park and the town park is one parcel. It's more of a legal structure than it.
So, but you're gonna, if I'm hearing correctly, you want to make that
Correct.
By deed,
by deed.
but not by tax parcel, because we can't do that.
Do we have a contract? Do we have anything that,
This is on your side of things.
Yeah.
Not like,
So this is being worked with the development office right now. There, one hinges on the other, because if this doesn't go through, the people next door don't want by the north. So we need to subdivide the pieces so that they can then just go after the wall.
So can we then, Chris, this is probably a question for you, can we put an agricultural or an environmental easement on this to prevent future development?
Sure. Well, it says it right here in that code.
Yeah, go read that paragraph. Bob.
It says, a notice to be added to the subdivision plan stating that no new development is proposed on lots 1, 2, and 3, and lots 1, 2, and 3 are not approved buildable lots at this time. Requiring site plan approval from the town of Canandaigua Planning Board prior to development occurring on the lot. So
that's already on there.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's.
Oh, it's on your
no,
plan.
So I mean, if anything does.
Well, but that's not what Tim and Mark are asking.
so we could put in deed that property will not be developed or access in from the front.
Agricultural easement, is that,
If there's a transfer, if there's no transfer, there's no deed.
no, I mean, prior to signature, an agricultural easement preventing development would be filed at the county clerk's office.
Who would the easement be to the town?
What?
I mean, my client is the guy buying the north side. I have to talk to
No.
the crackers, and then also if there is an environmental easement on it, who does the language and how that works. That's a little bit outside of what the original plan was. That's just the issue there.
But I don't think you've got enough, or you might not have enough votes to get a subdivision without that condition. At which point it leaves it to your client to work that out.
I mean, if you want to put a
Somebody
condition
put
on
it
there,
up.
I'll talk to my clients, and then if they say no, then I'll just have to.
You have to come back and revise the condition.
That,
Just so I also understand it, the owner then gets a benefit by those easements being in place by a change to their tax classification as well. So there's a.
no,
No,
I don't
It's
think
not a
so.
moderate benefit.
You have to actually qualify for, you have to be conducting agricultural operation.
But if we did something like an environmental easement. So
it would lower the value of the property, yes,
Oh, yeah.
significantly, I would say.
But if they're never intending.
Well, so
Maybe
environmentally.
It's not my, I guess it doesn't matter.
It's what
not
ifs,
my-
I don't, I
I'm
can't.
trying to help them.
Through that what ifs, it's.
If they're never intending to develop it,
They had,
then they're
there's,
burdened for costs.
Why don't we make the condition agricultural or conservation easement that prohibits future development to the town of Canandaigua? And then they can pick and I can, make sure it says, make sure that there's not gonna be a house on that.
If it's a condition of approval,
then you're kind of,
why would the easement be necessary?
Because nobody knows about conditions of approval after the thing gets filed. An easement lasts forever at the Ontario County Clerk's Office, and anybody who ever buys that property, their lawyer's gonna search and say, oh, you can't build on this, right?
Right.
If the
So an easement-
condition is that a deed restriction will be established when the deed is created.
There might not be a deed created. Deed restrictions don't work. In most respects, I would prefer an easement, not a deed restriction.
Okay.
Deed restrictions get missed and then not transferred over to the next deed. When this guy sells it, and then you don't actually have any control. The deed restriction, if I buy a property with a deed restriction, I can just transfer it back to myself without the deed restriction. Theoretically, it might still apply, but nobody knows about it.
Deeds, as I understand deeds, they're typically enforceable civilly.
Yeah.
If somebody has to decide to sell it.
That's the other, we can enforce easements for code.
Right.
Got it.
So Chris, the Peck family irrevocable trust, that little lot right there.
Which, that's the rectangle.
Yes, at the top, the
Yeah.
north side of the southwest property. Is if that was somehow purchasable, could this then become a conforming lot on that south side? Going from 65 feet. to
Yeah,
58
I would
feet
think so, but I
with
don't,
frontage.
I think they're completely unrelated, right? I think that's an unrelated property.
And what does the irrevocable trust mean? Does that mean it's never gonna be sold by that family?
No, irrevocable trust is just, it's the same as LLC or incorporated.
Okay,
It's the name of a corporate entity. You can make a irrevocable trust that just holds property, holds real estate.
got it.
So, but if the irrevocable trust sold that piece of land to the parcel, to the owner of the parcel that were in question, and they wanted to combine that, it would come back before this board, and this board could consider allowing them to withdraw that easement. Well, now it is a buildable lot.
not if I combine them, because there's another house there.
In theory, then, I was using it as an example.
Well, hopefully what
Still
will
wouldn't be able
happen
to Driveway.
is that the
If
adjacent
they have
property,
that whole property next to it,
Yeah,
yeah,
their site distance is awful too.
alright, well, I'm just looking at a white rectangle.
ultimately that lot becomes part of the lot we spent.
Oh, yes,
But a separate deed because of the municipal.
Yeah.
Boundaries. So what kind of easement are we talking about? A agricultural easement or conservation easement?
conservation easements, I don't know what the conservation value of the land is, and that's sort of a prerequisite.
Well, it was a concern of the ECB regarding the entire property. There's a lot of restrictions as far as natural.
I think they were talking
Most
about
of
the
those,
north, that's
most
the
of
north.
those north is on the north side.
And the steep slopes of the.
Yeah, so I'm sure
Yeah.
it could be either, we'll just work it out. Like,
Okay,
I would recommend just leaving it as either or, and so long as it means they
prefer
can't put a
agricultural.
driveway in there, you're fine, right?
I just prefer an agricultural because I know that the property further to the west is under some conservancy and they've got to pull off for cars there.
Okay.
And I wouldn't suggest that.
Agriculture doesn't, it's hard to make an agricultural prohibit any development. Can't put a house in, but you can put a barn, you can put 4 barns. Without knowing more, I'd say just either or.
What I would like to accomplish is that property, that lane never be used for anything more than an intermittent agricultural use as if that, if you wanna say pre-existing non-conforming.
We're trying to get there.
How do you restrict that to just intermittent agricultural use? What if someone wants to hunt there and they're in and out every day during the hunting season? Or they just wanna be on their property more often? But it's a hard thing I'm just trying to. I don't wanna put too many restrictions on there a lot, if we can get around it just because of what it does to 15 acres of land. I mean, you're gonna say if someone sees a truck pulling out of it that's not an ag truck, they're gonna get fined by the town or they're gonna get in trouble. Like, I mean, I'd rather.
I just don't think there should be improvement of that, any improvement of that location. It's dangerous.
Tim, you don't want to see a house on it with a driveway there, right? That's essentially what you're,
Like I said.
it's not safe for a residential drive.
To that driveway to turn on.
Okay,
It's not safe.
Well. I mean,
it's
that's-
tough.
that's
It's tough for this
exactly
board to
what-
restrict that, but certainly as far as any future development that could be, precluded as far as any residential use. And knowing what the intended use of the property is, it's just a matter of how do we get from here to there and ensure that if something falls through and that lot is not sold or not joined in common deed or a separate deed, that the town's protected, that we don't have a house being built there, would use that access with its limited site distance. So how do we do that?
Put in the condition that it be an agriculture or conservation easement, I will ensure. Quite frankly, I didn't review this project before. Without pouring over the details, I'm not comfortable telling you which one it should be. I'll make sure it does what you're trying to prevent. It prevents what you're trying to prevent. Is my recommendation.
Okay, and as far as not your client, but the other individual, I think their intent will be missed because they want to essentially. Do they have an agreement sale?
They have a pending.
And stuff. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, the ECB is, as I said, was very concerned about all the NRI features on the property and making sure that if anything, total restrictions on any future development other than, adding something by the farm, I guess, could happen in the future. ZBA, you got one variance, right, from them?
Correct.
I think
Originally,
originally
the variance, then we just needed a waiver from the board, the planning board.
you had requested a waiver regarding the lots 2 and 3 being 2.5 times deeper than the width. We have that, so that would be part of our consideration. No comments from Jim Fletcher or from Code. We didn't get any response from East Bloomfield. Do you need a SHPO letter? In your part 1, I think you had archaeological.
I think it's part of it, but if you want us to get a letter, we can.
Yeah, I think being that it's being checked off, it's sort of being
Yeah,
marked,
we're just,
yes.
we're not doing any development.
Okay. Somebody keep track of conditions. Okay. JD, for the wetlands.
There's no development.
Okay. I saw something back from December. The lot line adjustment has been,
I didn't do a lot line of adjustment, that's
Okay.
another firm.
but I assume it's recorded.
That's been signed
Okay.
for.
Okay. And we did get a email from Andy Rogers. I don't know if you saw that in the packet. He's the owner of Rogers Farm on the north side. And,
That's me, but I think this is
oh,
on
I'm sorry.
this is on the south side of Grimble Road.
Most of our districts.
They're just splitting it by the road.
Yeah, but you're doing this 3 lots on the south side.
One's on the north, 2 are on the south.
So, and the north
Here,
one,
they're cutting the lot in half by the road. So the north larger piece is being sold off.
And that's what the guy's gonna use for hunting.
Correct.
Is foot. and-
Correct.
We own the property to the
West,
east, to the west of the property on the
north side.
north side of,
Yeah.
So you're,
right,
yeah, this is pieces being,
This is not being subdivided.
that's
in
not gonna
whole.
have
Nothing's gonna be subdivided off the north, it's just being.
Right. right, but
This
this,
north property's intact.
this lot you're talking about on the other side, isn't the land in East Bloomfield in the land trust?
I saw a sign,
Hmm?
I saw a sign, some sort of land trust conservancy.
Yeah. So I don't
Will
think,
pull off, you
that it's gonna be developed up there anyway. Unless, like you said, they booked that driveway, right?
Okay, so, okay.
I have no concerns with that.
Yeah, I could tell from your
We're on the
email,
other
your
side.
concern was on the north side, so
Right.
I don't think anything's happening on that side. Because there's so many constrictions and
Correct.
encumbrances. Okay. Anybody in the audience want to address the board regarding this application? If not, let's move on. So we've got I'll close the hearing and we'll address the seeker. It's a unlisted action. Being this for the subdivision. Somebody want to handle that? Well, they're looking that up. I think your part one still has two lots. That being a two lot.
That was the original factor, we can update that.
Just change it to three, please. This is three. It was on the part one.
Yeah,
Bob, you're all set?
yeah, I'll
Loaded.
move to approve the secret resolution on the listed action at 6265 Grimble Road in the AR2 zoning district, CPN 2025-139.
With 6 conditions.
Not on a secret.
We're just
Okay.
doing just secret.
Okay, got a motion. Give me a second, folks.
Second, Amanda.
Okay, got a motion, a second. On the seeker unlisted action, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, let's move on to subdivision.
I'll make that motion, but I just want to make sure we've got all the conditions ready. I know we've got the the one that conservation versus ag easement. And Chris, I think Mr. Nadler, I think your language was good and keeping it open-ended. So that was 5, and are there additional conditions?
Sure,
Oh,
we
yeah.
put, a letter should be provided to the town prior to signature. Did we want the update to the secret form added as a condition? So that's
Yes,
7.
7.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's also including a waiver, you're granting the requested waiver.
Oh, for the width. like
Maybe
the
just have that
Yeah,
condition,
that would
so you
be-
have it as a record.
can we add to the findings that
Yes, please.
the site distance as proposed does not provide safe and efficient vehicular and pedestrian access.
It's not as proposed, it's existing at the farmland. We're not proposing, it's just an existing site distance there.
The existing driveway.
For the findings. The finding.
For the
Findings.
It's fine.
You can always add to the findings. You always should add, but if anything you can think of that should go in there that's not. I strongly recommend putting it in.
Okay, I should also state for the record, the county planning board took no action on this application, so we're not under any restriction with planning board regarding this subdivision. So, Amanda, did you make?
I so moved with the 7 conditions.
Okay,
I'll second Amanda.
motion second, further discussion. Not, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, very good. Thanks, Anthony. You're gonna hang around?
I got some extension.
All right, let's move on to CPN 2025-155. Sue, you're up, 3407 Westlake Boulevard. This is a expansion of a non-conforming use. That's why it's here this evening. They'll go before the ZBA next week. Then come back to us if approved by the ZBA in March, first meeting. So this is the first step.
Yep.
You want to tell us a little bit about the projects?
Yep. Hi everyone, Sue Steele, Steele Landscape Architecture. Kristen, are you able to pull up the PDF that I provided with, it was like a supplemental PDF. It's one of it's in January 16. Just has like everything in one PDF. So we don't-
or the supplemental?
It's an other supplemental.
Yeah, I assume everyone reviewed everything. But this will give us just an overview of the project, and then we can go through any specific questions. I'll just try to touch on purpose of the project, some of the key things that we're doing, and yeah, we can just go through this. So the next slide here, it looks like it might have been missing some, yeah, right here. So the owners of this property are looking to make some improvements. The primary goal is to address the timber wall on the shoreline, which is failing. And that really prompted the project and all the improvements that they're making. As part of looking at the property, they realized that there are a lot of upgrades they could make. So due to some deferred maintenance, they're going to, with the investment, make significant improvements to the rear yard. So the timber wall, as I mentioned, is failing, so that would be replaced. On top of that is a deck that cantilevers over the lake, which is kind of unusual on the lake, but that will also be removed as part of this project. Additionally, the decks that are attached to the house are not in great condition. There's some rot on the posts, so those are also being removed and reconstructed and reconfigured a little bit just for more flexible use of the decks that are there today. From a vegetation standpoint, there's some invasive species, so we are taking care of those, removing those, and preserving the valuable trees that are on site, and adding some new plantings as you'll see in the plan. I think I covered everything that's there. We are reconfiguring the hardscape that's on site, so there are some patios and walkways, and we're going to reconfigure those to accommodate some of the intended improvements in the future. All of the work is in the rear of the property. There's nothing proposed in the front yard or front of the property. And then the next slide shows the just some existing photos. I know we submitted a bunch of photos, but just showing the condition of the backyard. There is the deck. It is like 2 levels up there at the second, and then the stairs that come down, not in great condition. And then the view of the shoreline, I think that bottom left photo is pretty important. That's the current condition. That structure sits on the timber wall, and there's no vegetation. It's just lawn. So we're making a pretty drastic change to the shoreline in a positive way for the lake and for the housing. I'm just showing the trees that are being removed, non-native invasive species that aren't really contributing to the landscape. Any questions, just interrupt me. This is just the timber wall, obviously met its life expectancy common to the period that this is probably installed. There's a lot of erosion behind it and sediment loss, so we are going to address that with the reconstruction. So the site improvements, I went through what the goals are, really the restoration or the reconstruction of that timber wall. And with that, so we are removing 40 feet of the wall. So we're able to work with the homeowner to really do something that's a little bit more ecologically focused. And we're gonna expand the natural shoreline by extending that from the south property line up, removing 40 feet again of the timber wall. But still maintaining some of it because they do have plans for a future dock, not part of this review, not happening right now, but just showing that why we are locating that patio and the walkway up to that north property line. We're maintaining all of the site features that they already have. They have a hot tub, they have these patios, they have the walkways. We're just rearranging them and we're actually taking the sidewalk widths down as much as possible. So we really did make a lot of efforts to reduce lot coverage. Along the shoreline where we do have and are maintaining that functional space where they have gathering, they have the deck now. We're going to keep a spot where they can gather up there, but we're going to use flagstone pavement with lawn joints so that we have some porous where essentially it will function as a porous pavement option and not be completely impervious. Adding a lot of plantings along the lake, so that we're, in alignment with the shoreline development guidelines, adding a little bit of a veil and a screen to the house and allowing some of the runoff to get captured and filtered prior to entering it. The blue line around the house just shows the reconfiguration of the deck. And we're just trying to simplify the deck structures and the stair system, because right now it's a little bit of a mess. Looking at the house, there's a lot going on with the arrangement of the stairs. And then one kind of new thing which contributes to the added impervious coverage and lot coverage that we have is continuing access. They currently don't have a walkway or access to that north, underneath the north balcony, up in this area here. There is no access up to access some utilities that are in here. So we are providing, a paved walkway to that area. Currently it's through planting beds. So, those are some of the highlights. I think the next slide. Nope, other way, yeah. So I did have this chart in here just showing the lot coverage in a kind of diagrammatic format, so you can kind of see and compare. It's not a lot that we're asking for, and we really have made a lot of moves and worked with the homeowner to reduce pavement as much as possible. They are non-conforming right now. And our goal was to stay at least at their coverage, but we just have not been able to get there. So this modest increase is where we're at right now. And it's, I think, 1.11% over what they are today, which I understand is still non-conforming, and it's an increase. And again, largely due to the added connection to the north part of the house there. But mostly maintaining what's there. And we feel like by removing the shoreline wall, that 40 feet, and really starting to make a bigger move on the softening the shoreline, it's maybe an added value to the property. These are just some illustrations to help you visualize what we're thinking and what we've been working towards. So that yellow line on the top is the naturalized shoreline, and you can see in comparison that currently this hardened shoreline actually continues to about here. So we're extending that natural shoreline, softening this whole approach, and adding is the photo that we had at the start just had the deck over the shoreline wall. And we're adding quite a bit of vegetation to really soften that edge. That is my overview of the project as it was submitted to you. Since then, we did receive some comments, and they came in a little bit later than we were able to update drawings or respond, but we did talk to the homeowner and we did review all of the revisions that we would have to make. And we're confident in our studies that we've done between that time and now that we can make all those revisions without any significant implications to what we're asking for or how the design functions. Specifically the sewer line that runs through the property and the easement that wasn't on the survey. We're able to accommodate that. The hot tub can be moved outside and the deck can be reconfigured in a way that gets the stairs outside of the easement. That's a no-brainer and we can address. I do have to mention that at the time of this application, we've also been submitting our application for permit with the DEC and the Army Corps. And in those conversations, we had another slight design change. Also doesn't have an impact in your review or approval. But the shoreline wall was originally proposed to be constructed outside of the existing wall and in the lake. And we have received comments that are not in alignment with or supportive of that measure. So we will be constructing the wall in place. So it will be a timber wall still, but it will be constructed in place. So we won't be extending out into the lake. So if that was a concern, although I know it's outside of jurisdiction, and it doesn't change the site design or what we're proposing in any meaningful way. And I think with the easement, like the one thing that's kind of a benefit that comes out of that is the current stairs are in the easement for the deck. So we will be bringing that into conformance and getting that outside of that easement area. I think I covered all of the
Okay.
points.
Well, again, this evening, for the board's sake, we're just discussing the increase in lot coverage and making our recommendations to the ZBA. So even though there may be some changes going forth, assuming that your lot coverage doesn't change for the, well, if it changes for the better, well, have at it.
Yeah.
But if as long as it doesn't change, then whatever comments we have for the ZBA as a result of this meeting, would still hold.
Not allowed.
And then we'll,
Can we not tell her anything else that we thought on the plan?
So this
I
is
don't wanna
also-
get into the site plan too much
Okay.
because that will come back to us next month. And, all depends how successful
Okay.
you are at the ZBA meeting.
So all site plan comments would come back if successful with the variance, it's zoning board.
And we're assuming there'll be an amendment or revision to the plan
Right.
before the site plan is actually done. So how does the board feel about the 1.11% increase in lot coverage? Knowing what else, Ms. Steele's talked about regarding the improvements on the property.
It's so close.
Yeah.
It's so close. It's just like, and I'm sure you probably have gone over with the applicants probably a whole bunch, but I think in our, if I could speak on behalf of Chuck, in our reviews of the like referrals for ZBA, we're just our responses have been like, just reduce that increase as much as you can, keep it within the existing nonconformity if it exists as much as you can. It's so close.
Yeah, I mean, this board and the ECB is always concerned about incremental increases in lot coverage, a lot here, a lot there. They all start to add up. This isn't that great, but I think one thing, first of all, the current downspouts for the property,
Yeah, and you had asked that at PRC, so
where,
So
is there any
they've-
type of stormwater management currently?
yeah, so the root leaders that we could see on site run underground, but we don't have any and we haven't gotten to that point to understand. We don't intend to change that condition. They probably go to a foundation drain, but where they go,
There's one that goes to the lake. I saw one that goes right to the lake.
you did see one that goes.
Yeah,
to the lake.
there's a picture of it. I took a picture of it.
Okay,
You have it in one of your pictures too.
okay.
It's
Yeah, we
6
haven't
inch.
scoped them, so we don't know where
Yeah.
they run. I can't confidently say,
That was gonna be one of my comments too, but.
okay.
I think that would be a concern or a comment.
Yeah.
We would have, if not for the ZBA, at the very least, when it comes to site plan approval. From a very positive aspect, you're using a lot of impervious hardscape. Even though impervious hardscape is considered part of the lot coverage, it does provide a certain amount of restriction on runoff. So, and I think the ZBA, I don't want to speak for the ZBA, but I think they consider that also because they always ask questions of the applicants. Are you putting any porous pavement? And if the applicant is willing to either include that kind of material, it's sometimes something they look favorably on. So you're doing that here. I know down at the lake, you have the stones with the grass separated.
Kristen, do you wanna just go to the next sheet in that drawing set? Yeah,
Yep.
so all of these, irregular flagstone pavement would have 6-inch lawn joints between them, so
But in calculating
we count every paver that's
You didn't-
shown.
you didn't just count the impervious. I mean, you counted the whole area, including the grass
We
between.
did not count the grass.
It's not the total area of patio, it's the,
Do you need the?
No.
No, I'm just trying to get to a point where, okay, you may have more pervious than you're showing.
Oh, because
Did you wanna-
Because of the
Check the-
grass. it's an argument, but
potentially.
if you calculate each stone area as impervious and did not count the grass in between,
Yeah,
wow.
How do you
but.
calculate the area of these randomly
Yeah,
shaped?
but so this is the challenge, and we've talked about this, like how do you calculate it, because
If you're gonna guess.
it's not, without going out and scanning the pallets of stone that will actually arrive on this particular site. There's no way to,
No,
for me to confidently tell you exactly, but in our best estimation, based on the size of stones and how many fit on a pallet and how many you've estimated it would take to actually build this project, we could say with, you know, our intention is that coverage, but I hear you, there's no, it's not exact.
I thought we had a catch it there, to help you.
I mean, we've really tried to shave off every square inch we could. I mean, without making these walkways not comfortable for a human to walk on, right? Like in the space to hold furniture that's sold at a store. Like we're really trying to scale things down. And you all know this client has been before you for a special use permit. It is a rental property. There is, you know, some intention to have the ability to accommodate the users that will be on this property. So they do want to fit furniture that works on this space. It's not oversized. It's not very generous even at that. And we have tried to reduce as much as possible. You know, the wall, the top of walls count against us in Canandaigua.
So
The top of the shoreline wall counts against us in Canandaigua, so it's really hard to, you know, every inch.
I mean, you're what, 337 square feet?
300, yeah, we're still working
Can
on
you
trying
find
to
that?
get it down.
Yeah.
And you know, some of the moves that we've had to make with the hot tub and the stairs to get things out of the easement might bring us down a little bit more, but again, we're talking like, we're gonna go from 3.1 now, or 3.7. The 1.1 to like 1.05. I mean, we're doing everything we can, but it's not gonna make the move that's big enough to get us exactly where we are.
Ward, how do you feel? What do you want to tell the ZBA?
Still for the record.
Yeah.
Your drawings are very good. It helps me define where everything goes, and I appreciate that, really. Some of them I just have to go through, but yours are always clear. I appreciate that. What would you have to give up if you had to?
Oh, I have to give that, you know, trust me, I mean, it's a hard one.
Yeah.
So there are opportunities to give up some of this, right? To access utilities today, you walk through a planting bed. Can you continue to walk through a planting bed? Problem. Will it get us to the same level of coverage that we are today? No, not at all. It's going to be a combination of things. But that would be probably where it would start. Maybe ask if we don't have to count the shoreline wall cap. It's 80 feet. 80 square feet.
By how wide?
It's a foot.
80 by foot, so it's
Yeah.
80 square feet.
Yeah, right. So
I'd have to check the map.
I mean, one of the things that we are doing, and I think it's great, like knowing the floodplain moved and knowing where high water mark is, like we are actually, this homeowner is giving up land to the lake. They are carving out their shoreline to give more land to the lake, which, you know, not every client's willing to do. Most want to take everything that they've got on the shoreline. So they are trying to make the moves that are beneficial for the lake community, but we're having a tough time with the coverage.
My question would be, I love the design. Go from pavers to the irregular stone. Is that more of just a architectural feature and a feel, or is there a purpose by going to the irregular stone?
So it's very purposeful. So they currently have a space that's about that size to accommodate gathering on the lake. But we know that the coverage just wouldn't support that. They're non-conforming. So we wanted to pull back the coverage as much as possible. So by going from that formal patio, so this formal, smaller, much smaller patio space will support, you know, someone who might need a completely accessible surface to, you know, unencumbered surface to gather. But this more irregular paving allows us to have flexibility in space like they had originally, but this is gonna be irregular. It's not gonna be comfortable for everyone. And we didn't feel comfortable paving that entire area because, again, trying to be considerate of the regulations and condition of land.
And has DEC given you any feedback of the natural shoreline as of yet?
They're very supportive. They'd love to see it for the whole shoreline. Yeah, them and the Army Corps, we've had really great conversations, and as of the end of last week, they seem more comfortable with the in-place replacement of the wall. And the naturalized shoreline, they're very supportive of.
You're going wood for wood, not transferring metal.
Correct, yes, it will be pressure treated wood with the I-beams. Yep.
Okay, so it sounds like our recommendation, and it's agreeable to the board, would be that you would look for opportunities to reduce the impervious if possible. To get it, you know, back to quo. And we would certainly ask prior to your presentation to this board on the site plan that you look at these existing stormwater off the property, where it's going, if you can get a little better handle on that soon.
Okay.
Anything else? I again, Amanda said it, I think this board has sort of taken a position that, you know, we want to see no increase in lot coverage if possible. It's, you know, it's just such a critical issue to the town and to the lake, that if you could keep it at status quo or less, even better in some cases, because we do have applications that come in and they actually reduce the coverage. Your building coverage is going up a little bit, but you're still below the increase or the maximum building coverage. So you're okay there.
You said the building coverage is going up?
Wasn't it going up a
We're
little
not
bit?
doing anything to the,
He meant lot coverage.
oh, the lot coverage, yes.
No, well, what's your building? Is your building coverage?
They're fine on building.
Yeah.
Oh, I know they're fine. Yeah, they were below. You were below.
Oh, yes, we're below.
Yeah, below it, and you still are below.
A recommendation coming back to planning, if it's that far, would be to note all of the permeable surfaces that we would add and include a maintenance plan for those permeable surfaces.
Yeah,
So hopefully once,
especially since it's a rental. So the rental company management.
To note them on the plan and what the maintenance would be for them.
I understand that they always still cover, they still count towards coverage.
Yeah.
However, they are better than not being there. And but the most critical piece to it is that there's a maintenance plan in place to maintain whatever it is. So in other words, people install them, they never clean them out, they plow over them, and
Sure.
they seal them.
We can add.
Kristen, would you go down to the detail sheet? Because I think you are including stormwater control as part of your planning area, right? Yeah.
During the building.
There you go. Okay. So I think when Mark is saying whatever structure you have here that does require some maintenance. Is that right, Mark?
Yeah, so both here and also when you start talking about adding permeable pavers and things along those lines.
Yeah, so the pavers, when I said permeable, sometimes the flagstone with the lawn joints is considered permeable because it has the joints that are free draining.
Okay.
It's not a system like the permeable with the open graded joints, which would need to be cleaned and maintained so that they.
All right, so that component will be different.
A little
Is
bit
correct
different,
that
yeah.
anything related to the rain gardens or the structure.
So this is the naturalized shoreline, so you would need maintenance information on this. Is that weird? or no?
No.
No.
Well,
Shoreline.
doesn't it provide stormwater retention, mitigation?
No, it allows for filtration of water. Any water that be coming off the lawn will filter through these vegetated pockets.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So then.
Eventually, they would become clogged, I would assume sometime with silt, grass clippings.
I think the design of it, because it's this irregular riprap,
Yeah.
it allows for voids which can take,
Self-clean?
yeah, I will provide any maintenance information. that-
Okay.
These are standard details from the DEC.
The water line's pretty high on that.
I think what we're trying to
Yeah.
prevent is somebody in the future paving over it. Or,
Yes,
you
I
know,
understand
that's-
that, especially with the porous asphalt and the sawdust, it's considered.
They-
So this is mean high water here.
Mhm.
This is the existing wall, this is the existing lawn area. Going up to the wall, we're removing all of this material in here and filling with plants and vegetative pockets. So water will filter to the lake, or the lake can come in to that area. And it just protects from erosion.
It's more of a new shoreline versus a bioretention or something.
Yeah, it's not considered a stormwater facility. But rather than just sending the water into the lake, it will filter through.
I thought I read in one of your narratives, it would act as a some sort of mitigation. Anything else? Okay, Dan, Chuck.
Just want to make sure the board understands that this site plan will be different because of the modifications. With that easement, will that save you any area? The redesign,
Will what give us?
because you said that you have, this plan has changes coming.
Yes.
When you do those changes, will the layout be any different?
The layout won't be substantially different. The arrangement of some pieces will shift slightly, but nothing that will impact them. Again, we're trying to get that coverage down, but it's not going to be significant. We'll try for recommendation to get it down to existing non-conforming as best we can. But yeah, the site plan will be
So the
revised.
question I guess I asked the board, are you guys okay making a recommendation on a plan that's going to be different?
I think our recommendation is so general.
Still the same as.
Yeah, we're just saying, try to get it down, however you do that, if it
Well,
requires a
I guess-
revision of the plan.
We've had this conversation before about changes, and I want to make sure that we're okay with it.
I think what we're saying is that we're gonna ask her to get it at non-compliance what it is now today, which is general. If she changes the plan, it's still the same. But
Just, I'm just pointing out.
Yeah.
because
Just so that I'm clear on this,
I
the
think-
recommendation.
I think-
Yeah, no, Dan, I get it. We get
I
the
think-
mark roll.
The recommendation to go to zoning board would be for the lot coverage as proposed or to be
Yeah.
at conforming, and then we come back for a site plan review. Given,
I think you may have an issue with the ZBA if you go and change the plan after.
sure,
So
Yeah.
between now and next Tuesday, I guess you've got to get that plan revised.
Well,
That they're looking at a plan that won't change.
I think we should also be clear that we're making our recommendations based on the information that we have today, and if it
Right.
significantly changes from that, then our recommendation may change.
Well,
So the ZBA does, I'll just probably, the condition variance is granted on exact plans. So that you'll get it, if you got a variance, it'd be for
that exact.
what they see that night, not any modifications. Just keep that in mind.
okay,
That mark, that's kind of.
or you get it within the variance and don't need it.
Don't need it at all.
Then you don't need it.
Right, we have it love for that.
We're only.
Yeah.
It's my goal.
if you can do that between now and then you can withdraw it from the ZBA.
It's not approved.
So that
it's
would
not
be the process,
anything,
we
it's
should just withdraw from CBA and come back to.
With the revised plan.
Here.
Yeah.
Here's a Sharpie, why don't you?
Oh my God, yeah.
Feel like somebody else. Okay, anybody else? Thanks, Sue.
Have a good
Good night.
Thanks for coming.
All right, let's move on to some, oh, is there anybody in the audience that'd like to address the board regarding our discussion on the increase in the impervious only? I'm not getting into the heavy duty site plan review. Anybody? If not, we will move on. Okay, 2026-004. Extension request from Anthony Venezia for 1880 State Route 332. Anthony, what's
The only thing,
Stella.
we were going back and forth with the mechanicals, the plans to size utilities and things of that nature, we finally got through all that, some lighting. So that has all been addressed and we're just, adding stuff to the site plan. Nothing outside of what was approved is changing, so footprint still the same, everything else, so it's just getting the final plans to you for final reviews.
so it's all inside the building?
Inside the building and changing maybe a 6-inch line to a 4-inch line or a 4-inch line to a 6-inch line for sanitary gas.
With RG&E, you're not having an issue as far as getting juice out?
No, for the smaller individual type pieces, we're not having problems.
Okay, so this is your first extension request on this application, because you did reapply, right? Remember when you
We did
changed?
for the change,
Yep.
we did an adjustment because we want.
So again, board, this is a first extension request for 90 days to get to meet the conditions of approval. Any discussion?
So move to approve the extension of 90 days.
Okay, thank you. Give me a second. Second from Tim. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next extension is from Marathon Engineers. Parkside Drive. Final, section 1, final subdivision site plan. This is your second request.
Yes, correct. Yeah, sorry, it's Jake Calabrese with Marathon. I'm online.
Chuck, didn't you sign the plans?
Not the final. Section 1, I don't think so.
Okay. Sorry.
Jake, where are you hanging?
So obviously the hot button one is RG&E. We're working on getting that finalized and securing all the grant funding and finalizing the construction costs with RG&E and who's responsible for what. That's still a work in progress, but it's going in definitely the right direction. I had sent over, I believe we uploaded it to Cloud Permit, kind of a scheduling memo and kind of where we're at with all the other outside agencies. I think Dan requested that, and I'll just do a quick run through of kind of the major hits. So MRB Group, we are going to resubmit plans for just a couple final comments and to kind of let them do another final review of the final section 1 plans and review the LOC. Not much of that has changed, but when we had done it kind of last spring, the LOC and grading permit were separated. This time it's all going in one. We don't plan to do a grading permit and then doing the building permit, or a grading permit and then getting the plan signed. So that's going to be all grouped into one. With the Ontario County Public Works, they just had a really good conversation with the city of Canandaigua regarding the sanitary loading. We're just looking to get the BSP 5 form signed, and that will kind of snowball all of the other agencies. Sarah Brown, we've been talking with her, and they're looking to finalize that BSP 5 and get it back to us, hopefully this week, but possibly next week, because I know there was some information out on the wastewater treatment plant, but it looks like the Uptown project is still underneath those levels, just from what I've heard from both parties. Farmington Water, all comments have been addressed to date. I've talked to Aaron Bissell and just kind of let him know that this is kind of getting kicked back up again, and just to kind of keep your head, or keep just to make sure that he's aware that we are going to be starting up construction, but he was all fine with that and didn't have any comments. The New York State DEC, I have finalized their review, and their main thing is just waiting for the signed BSP 5 form, and then they'll be approved, which then kind of snowballs into the health department, as well as they're just looking for a lot of the other agencies to kind of get their sign off. So, and on the bottom, it kind of has a quick schedule. Today, we're obviously requesting the second 90-day extension. April 15th is kind of our goal to get the Mylar sent out and circulated to everyone. And May 1st, submit for a building permit and break ground soon after. So that's kind of the general schedule that we're hoping to attain here.
Good. I hope you can make that schedule. It's great.
So do we, believe me.
We got a lot of snowballs though.
Yeah, yes, but they're starting to go. Once we get the BSP 5, I think that's going to be a big thing on the agency side, and then we're just going to keep pushing forward on the RG&E end. I mean, that's going to be really the main thing, but all conversations have been going in the right direction so far.
Okay. Board, you heard the justifications. How do you feel about a second extension?
I'll make a motion for a second 90-day extension on CPN 26-06.
Got a motion? Motion second. Further discussion, if not, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thanks, Jig.
Awesome, appreciate it.
All right, CPN 2026-003, Anthony Venecia, Poplar Beach, 3444. This is the first extension. Boy, you gotta refresh my memory on this one.
It was where the couple of the homeowners went in and they cleared a questionable area that may or may not be wetlands. They did a bunch of disturbance in RLD plus the wetlands, so they got some approvals with conditions. One of the conditions was to get some sort of retroactive approval from the DEC or to see what they have to say about it. Permits doesn't permit projects that are already done, so I've been kind of going back and forth trying to get someone with them, with the management side of things, to get a letter or some sort of path to get an approval or something from the DEC, because the work's been done, it's all been stabilized.
I was gonna say,
It's been
it's done.
shipped, permit that's already done, so it's kind of been a back and forth with a couple of people over there now. That was the last thing.
What kind of, I'm trying to recall the conditions that we imposed. I know we talked about the open space and
Yeah,
the wetland and
something about
was it
adding
playground.
poplar trees to the landscape plan. It's been a while, so I'd have to go back to look. But I know that the biggest one that we couldn't address directly with the comments was the DEC.
DC.
So I'm getting there.
And the conditions of.
It was just the DEC, and they don't give approvals for
Include
permits.
additional landscaping to address the comments. So you're gonna share that additional.
Yeah, we'll handle all that.
That was
Like,
kind of
my
nebulous.
open end item right now is the DEC.
Assessor control DC, okay.
Do you need a permit to put the trees in? Will you need a
From-
DEC permit to put trees in?
It's a good question. That's what we're trying to get through. Because like I said, with the site plan that was sent, the comment that we got back is the DEC doesn't give permits for things that are already done.
Which is why we wrote satisfactory approval. If Anthony can get an email saying, Anthony, stop bothering us, we're fine with this.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
That may be satisfactory approval, depending on how the town staff reads. It's not
Yeah, so
an authorization of
the
that.
permitting side of the DEC, I'm dealing with like the wetland management side. To see if there's any kind of fines or things that might. But that's where we're kind of in a kind of stalemate, and I've been doing that since like October, so.
Okay. Clear to everyone? So this would be the first extension, well, Anthony to massage the DC. All right,
Motion to approve first 90-day extension on
Okay.
PPM 26-003.
I'll second.
motion second for discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Okay, have a good night.
You too.
Thanks.
See you.
Okay, minutes from back in January, meeting of the 27th. Maureen got them out to us. I guess the only question I have, did everybody you were able to open because they were sent on the
Can read
town
them.
website,
Read them, could
and were you able to correct them or edit them if you wanted to, or you just,
not edit.
nobody tried to edit?
I tried to edit, could not edit.
Couldn't do it. That's right, you said that. Dan,
So,
you were gonna get a
well, that
word.
that was the question, and I
Yeah.
need to confirm that with you. The town has issued word for the chairman. And we wanted to verify with all the members where they're at. Obviously, every time we do a word package or whatever, that's a license, that's another cost to the town. So we were trying to figure out ideas of how we could view these documents without the town spending another license fee for another user.
Is Adobe another user,
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
another license?
If they're on a website, don't you don't work with that.
Because I was gonna say, the other option I sometimes use is Sheets, Microsoft Sheets, and that's pretty much free. If we had a Microsoft allow us to get us into Sheets, then we could, make comments on all the things that we look at on this thing versus put it on another piece of paper.
And absolutely, so.
And then that version you can edit.
What'd you say, Sheets?
Sheets is Microsoft's answer to Word.
Google's.
Google,
Google.
thank you.
Oh, okay,
Thank
I
you
was
very
gonna
much.
say,
Fine,
yeah.
thank you. Google. And I use their spreadsheets too all the time.
I will talk with Tyler, our IT person, and see what we can come up with. We're just trying to figure out a way without incurring more costs for the town.
Sure. In the same regard, we want the board to have the ability to
Oh, absolutely.
edit the first go round, because I think it really, it's edited by the board. And then Karine gets it, and then once we edit it, you post it. And then comes to the next meeting for actual approval.
And again, I mean, I don't have a problem giving everybody another user, but there's just a cost that comes with
Yeah.
that, and that wasn't budgeted.
Well,
and
Unless these guys are computer savvy and they can do it, what I did, I went back to Pages on Apple.
yes, it's.
Apple.
Yeah.
What your phone is.
I could do it on that too.
So we'll.
I did it on my
continue
Mac.
On that, the goal is to have everybody be able to edit it.
Mhm.
If that's the only function we're doing, I would like to see if there's a way we can do it without giving the full license.
Full license just for editing.
Do everything.
Okay. Okay, motion for the minutes, please.
So move, approve.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Carleen, for doing this for us. Letters of credit. We have two. One for Pierce Brook. Let's take that one first. Excuse me?
We have the signature page.
I thought we agreed we could do them.
I thought they would have like 35 of them.
No, we were gonna do the big ones individually.
Big ones
Oh,
are
that's true.
individual.
And the
These are-
little soil erosions, and they're coming the next meeting. Right, it's the package, the package. So tonight we have some real money.
I'll start with Pierce Brook. I'll make a motion for 23,038 to release $127,000, $880.16. This is a partial release. And there will be $874K remaining.
We could have 96 here.
Oh,
That's
Wait, what?
Hold on, I might have.
Okay,
That, I'm looking at them backwards.
okay.
There'll be $874,430.
Thank you. Thank you for confirming that is accurate.
Okay. Got a motion from Amanda,
And second.
or second?
Yeah.
All in favor of this release, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, let's go to Creekview.
We're gonna do another partial on Creekview, 23010, 65K. This is partial, what would be remaining is 95K.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second in the amounts so stated in the resolutions. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. No referrals. CBA we've talked about. Reports. We have cell tower next meeting, 24th.
Yeah, I think so. I got some notes on it.
Then we'll have the bundle releases and we'll have, why don't we talk projects next meeting,
Oh, that's a good idea.
since you're not here.
What are you looking at me for?
We can talk about it. Yeah, let's, it's a very short agenda, of course, the cell tower, but we'll take our chances. So we'll do that then. Anything I want to do, one of the things I promised to do is sort of my project would be, since I'm the liaison for the ordinance committee and the planning public works committees, I feel that there should be more reporting back to this board as to what's occurring in those committees. Especially if it pertains to anything that we're involved with. But just knowing what's going on, it gives you, rather than being in a silo of planning board, we sort of cross over some silos. So I can report this month regarding those two committees. The ordinance committee is very hot and heavy into the form-based code amendment. And it's being done for the purpose of changing the procedure. That's the biggest thing. And also changing some of the restrictive requirements regarding transparency, shapes of the buildings, heights of the buildings, parking in the front, no parking in the front, those kind of things. So that is almost ready for public hearing with the town board. We're also off and running on the site design criteria and standards. And we hope to include, or they hope to include, the landscape standards as an appendix. You know, we talked about having a list of allowable plantings that are non-invasive and, you know, natural native. So that would be in that list as part of the site design criteria. The Planning and Public Works Committee is involved with updating their water master plan. If you've never read the water master plan, it can put you to sleep, but it also has a lot of good information in it. And if you ever get a chance to read the original or now soon to be revised plan, it gives you a lot of, especially from a planning standpoint, where we got water lines, where we have issues with water lines, where money is being dedicated to repair water lines, where extensions are going to occur. And speaking of extensions, plan for this year is an extension of the replacement of the Hickox Road water main, which runs from 5 and 20 to 21 was it 30 County Route 32 and Hickox. They're putting the roundabout. Oh, really? The county's going to put a roundabout there. That's in the works. So as part of, while that road is torn up, the thought was of the committee and Jim Fletcher to let's replace that water main. So a lot of the restoration can be on the county, not on the town. Transfer station's been an issue for years, whether to rebuild it, redo it, modify it. They did have an accident or two at the transfer station, which If you've ever been there on a busy day, it's just an accident waiting to happen. Well, it happened. Fortunately, no one was seriously hurt. So we're looking at ways of rerouting traffic around the transfer station. And of course, the big nut is what's going to happen with the county and the landfill as to the future. You know, this facility could be a hub for a major transfer station. And if that occurs, of course, then most of it hopefully would be paid for by the county, but it would involve a restoration, not a restoration, but a redo of the transfer station. And Jim Fletcher laid out the capital equipment he intended on purchasing this year. We got a lot of equipment, spent a lot of money on equipment, guys. Woo. It is, you figure everything, every time it's a snowstorm, that equipment all goes into action, and especially the trucks, the plows, the salt spreaders, the loaders. And speaking of road salt, there's a plan. Jim had brought forward an idea of buying forward the road salt for next year, because it is at a relatively inexpensive contract price right now. So he's going to hopefully load up the barn by the end of the season, so we have a good start for next year. So that's in the works. So that's my report on the two committees. Are there any questions on either of those?
The design criteria. So who's, because you had asked me to take that on as a project.
Yeah,
for the planning board.
and you-
So fill me in on who's already out in front, because I don't.
Is it Mike? Is Murphy gonna
No,
primarily?
I'm leading that one.
Okay.
And that's a great question, and I think this is a good opportunity to address that with the board. Site design is something that we're looking at, code is something that we're looking at, but it's very important to get out your input from this board. And so to keep everything in the right silo or whatever we want to call it, try to include me on those emails and I can point you in the right direction. We redid some of the staff's responsibilities, so somebody that you might work with in the past might not have those responsibilities anymore. And I'm also trying to keep track of time spent on projects. So if you're dealing with, let's say you're dealing with Kristen directly, and I'm not aware of that going on unless she tells me, I can't keep track of it. So the town board has us tasked with a lot of projects, but your board is just as important. And I want to make sure that we're accommodating for your board. So the easiest path is to send me an email and I will get you answers or working with the right person as quickly as I can.
I mean, my path forward was to talk with Jim, talk with Mike. What's working, what isn't working, but. I mean, we can make recommendations.
And
Jim.
yeah,
So they already had one meeting I was in.
Yeah.
And which I jumped in. I wasn't even, I was early for another meeting, but crashed it. And they have, what I saw was a really good plan going forward. They're already starting to come up with options and changes and getting our input on that. So it was pretty productive.
so the goal would be, though, as you said, is review any drafts that we put out before any adoption would take place. But yeah, any feedback would be great. We were gonna outsource it to MRB, but this is a project that we're gonna do in-house. With MRB assisting, instead of being the lead on it. So Mike, Kristen and I meet on that and we work on it. And I'm sure it's gonna go to Chris as well at some point to get his, make sure that we don't put anything in there that he can't protect us on. So that's obviously something that we're looking at. And another big push on this, and we're going to talk about it at ordinance next month, is how do we get things out of code that are the checklists and stuff that we can put in site design if we need to allow us a little bit of flexibility to change those as needed. Obviously, a good example would be the new state code just came out, and we have things in code that our checklist that we need to add to, and we can't right now because it's in code, and to do a code change, as we all know, takes months and months, and it's a legal document. But we can refer to site design, still approved by the town board, but it's a little easier to change. So
Site design was a part of code
correct.
by mention.
Yeah. Yeah.
By reference.
By mention. I mean, it's not a code because it's
Not
but-
enforceable.
But it's enforceable, but no, it is enforceable.
The verbiage in code would be that you need to refer to this document. And that's, the code then allows us to enforce it.
And if, you know, if your site design criteria strays into what needs to be a part of a code, then, you know, you get challenged.
When you start taking out.
Right. So, and we're, ultimately, the goal is to make it a usable document that applicants can look at and understand. And reading code sometimes isn't the easiest. So it's again, a living document that I would like to see that we can look at either on a yearly basis or every other year and do these updates as needed, with a little bit more flexibility than what we are chained to with actually adopting code.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I think we did it last in 2018. Yeah, and that was Jim and Lance and myself and another fellow resident, and it was, a lot of the changes were type of fire hydrant, you know, kind of pressure reducing valve. Jim wants to go to another manufacturer, then you change the standard, and like Dan said, it's, wouldn't have to go through a local law to change a fire hydrant type, so that's the plan. So
Yeah, well,
how often do you meet?
So staff is meeting pretty regularly on it
Okay.
right now, just because it is a topic that we want to try to get a red line version together so that we can bring it to ordinance. And that's it really, I need to get ordinance to buy in on it first.
Okay,
And then I would like, because ordinance tells us no, that we can't spend time on it, tech can't spend money on it. And it doesn't matter the next steps. But I think that they were open to, when we talked to them here in February, at least giving us the time on the floor to make a presentation about it. The other part of this and is looking at site plans that are simple. That can they be done administratively to allow process to go quicker? Not having to bring everything to planning board. I don't know what that looks like. More discussion to be had on that, but that was.
Hopefully nothing in the RLD.
Well, right.
I mean, that would be.
that would still come to us.
That would still come to you guys, but if we're maybe talking a single,
Farm a lot.
yeah,
If somebody's building a house out in a brickyard,
something that would have come to you guys and you would have been like, yep, this is simple, a quick vote on it. Can we do it administratively to handle? But there's gonna be checks and balances that, you know, if somebody from the development staff says, you know, I don't like this needs to go to planning board, then it goes to planning board. There's no questions, but we all agree and it meets the rules that would be in front of you guys that, yeah, we can do this administratively. That's the goal. So site design is one thing. That's the other thing that we're talking with ordinance about, because we've gotten a lot of feedback from town board that's gotten feedback from residents that some of these simple projects are drawn out because it has to take a couple steps here to the planning board. So again, I do not want to take anything away from this board. So when we put those draft regulations in place, I want true feedback from this board to say, yeah, this makes sense, or no, we still feel that we need to see this.
well, whatever information you can share with Tim
Absolutely.
initially, and then eventually it'll come to the whole board, but keep Tim in the loop.
I can absolutely add him in, just give us a few weeks, because right now we're doing a lot of
Still want to be involved.
I want to be involved with it
internal stuff with
before it
it.
goes to final.
Oh,
for review.
So, I mean, just to add to that, I think there's gonna be a lot of motivation to try to increase the speed on our processes. So,
Time's money.
which is all good. Related to that, some of the things that we might want to take a look at. I think there's also gonna be a lot of pressure to ensure that code is followed, maybe more than in the past. So some of the things that we're looking at for changing code, for example, how stormwater is handled might be something to put priority into. To make sure that we can get those codes changed so that we follow code, because we've got some large projects that we're gonna see this year related to that. Between Bob and Tim, you guys are overlapping on, you both have shown interest on sightlines. So, I think
Oh,
that, I think
Yeah,
on the site distance, so you both put that, I think you talked about it in the past. Yep. Chuck and I had a little bit of a dialogue about it, probably makes sense to split that responsibility and let one of you do it, but I'm not telling anybody what to do. But you both said you're interested in that, so I would love to see speed on anything we can do related to stormwater, if somebody is so motivated on that.
well, I submitted that already, my stormwater already to the town. It was, some things where Mike said needed to change.
Important changes that, and I'm not sure how to word it yet, Bob, would be to look at these flash scenarios that we're experiencing now and try to incorporate those someplace. Because otherwise we'll be pushed in a direction that code says we can do something. If we don't think we can handle it, then we won't have any grounds to stand on.
Is it? I mean, we just heard this, we just had this discussion about site design criteria. Site design criteria is going to have more flexibility. Putting things in code, unless they're very specifically defined, can box you into certain situations. I mean, I like what I'm hearing, what you want to do with the site design criteria. Because today it's one issue, it might change in a year. I think that what I want coming out of our discussions is that any project that's in the RLD that's going to be tear down or significant, they're in here for asking us for approval. I think we have an obligation to, I don't care about what size their project is, that the DEC may assign a size threshold. They're making a significant improvement. They should be improving quality of their runoff too.
Yep.
I mean, it's a privilege to live on that lake. And I think as a board member, I feel very strongly that we should hold everyone who's redeveloping in that watershed to a higher level of clean runoff.
That was discussed, right, Kristen, about a month ago, when that house was built without our knowledge. Yeah.
I have a remark about site plan approval. Being in the industry, standard building trades, we're gonna look at, with say the site plan design tonight, those irregular stones still have a stone base underneath them. That is the entire footprint plus 6 inches on each side. Is that calculated into the lot coverage? Or is just the stone in that area calculated? Because you're putting the same stone base on a regular grass inlay as you are on a paver patio. So it's still a permeable sub base, but since the stone is 4 inches between grass all the way around, is that a cheat code? Is that wool over our eyes into a fashion? And is there ways of, during site plan approval, understanding the sub base below it and how they're going to construct it for all the stormwater management? I've been in these scenarios where every single inch counts. Know all too much about stormwater management with the projects I've done in this lake. I care very much about what goes into this lake. But when it comes
So that's a question to add, that which comes back for site plan approval, ask her. And how are you constructing this? Theoretically possible. They're just putting stones, digging holes in the grass. It's theoretically possible. I don't think that. I think you're absolutely right. But maybe she says, no, we're just setting these stones on top of it. That's different. Well, no, but if that's on the plan, that's what has to be done. Or maybe there's something that maybe they're not compacting the stone dust as much, or who knows? Maybe there's an answer. Maybe there isn't.
So,
That
so
could be-
is gravel or compacted gravel considered impervious or pervious? I know I've heard it argued.
It's a little bit of each.
I think
Under our code,
in our code, it's impervious.
it's
It's
impervious.
So, I mean, like, if you have to put those stones on compacted things, right? That's clear.
I think her point, I think what we heard from her though is that's going to be a matter of inches and they need 300 and some odd feet. So. Yeah, it's a really good point though. I don't think that changes the nature of the project. They've got
But
6
with
inches,
that
big
said,
gap.
from a drainage standpoint, there's a big difference between loam soil and even a compacted gravel. You're gonna get much, you're gonna have runoff faster off of a grass loam than you are gonna have on a gravel driveway.
Even stone garden beds are lot coverage.
Mhm.
So just like to beg that the design was beautiful, but what I think could be the ask of the next meeting they come back is why not just keep it to the paver patio and just do a larger, just decrease that overall size and not have the accessible lane going to the future dock, but have just that lakefront area, all the same patio product, and not try to, incorporate another
Put
sub-finish.
Put
So
paver
that-
sidewalk, yeah.
So you, if the zoning board grants the variance, you don't have much leverage to ask for that.
So they're granting the variance of the lot coverage itself, the percentage increase.
Yeah, so what I would
Yeah,
recommend that you do is ask Dan to convey what you just said, or make sure that it's conveyed by staff to the zoning board at the next, before they grant that variance. Because that's not something that they regularly think about.
I dissect this stuff every day for my job.
Yeah.
So
I kind of heard that they might be looking at an accessibility when you talked about deck
yeah,
for maybe disabled people, so they need that.
What, I know
It'd be
Dan,
impossible with that house.
Dan,
Unless they
there's
had an
been,
elevator,
Let's not talk too much, I mean,
if
let's
they had no, because that.
let's not get into much more specifics about that project since the applicant's left.
Dan, I know there's been talk about giving credit for pervious material. Because right now it's considered impervious if it's paver, stone or whatever. 50%, something like that, it's 50% of the lot. Is that something you're looking at? Because I think the products out there now are really promoting themselves as being more adaptable to absorption.
I think it's definitely something that we're taking under consideration. Because we've heard that comment before. I don't think it fully replaced it, but could you get some credit for it? I think that that's an appropriate ask.
I know the ZBA in granting variances, if there is pervious material being used, that tends to sway them toward.
Correct.
approval.
The only problem
Yep.
is a maintenance.
Well, then we have to get into a maintenance plan like Margaret had mentioned regarding
Steel
this.
coating or seal coating tar.
Well,
So.
yeah.
With that being said, I think it has to have some verbiage in there. If we're gonna take that credit. You have to have a maintenance program or something laid out. Enforcing that is gonna be very difficult, but I think that's as far as we can go.
If it's a condition of approval, it's enforceable?
Yes,
It's just man hours
Staff there
to do it.
it's but in that situation, only if it's a really noticeable problem. Actually, quite frankly, there's no possible way unless you get a neighbor who's
Right.
ratting people out.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever gonna be able to enforce that. What you can enforce is if people take it out. Geez, I want some nice, good solid pavers, not this Cracker Jack pervious
Yeah.
pavers.
Broke up on, got to put
Or
blacktop down.
for our successors, when the next tear down and
Yup.
rebuild comes in.
That's like landscaping, people put stuff in and then tear it down.
Well,
I've heard of
and
developers putting plants in pots in the ground, get approval from the town, sign off, then you go take the pots out.
well, which is why this town requires landscaping bonds. A 2-year landscaping bond to make sure that not only does that
Not how.
not happen, but that they fertilize and water and ensure that
Stays alive.
those plantings grow.
And that's a part of our condition that upon approval, that 2-year bond. Awesome.
You decide if that will be, but we usually do.
No, we get the escrow, to put it in. Whether we get the bond.
Yeah, I don't know that we get.
No, because they're not, there's not a release automatically expiring at the end of 2 years.
All right, anything else? Training. Jay says, he's, worked his schedule out that he can go to Cooperstown.
Yeah, we can send me the information on that tomorrow.
Okay, great, so he will be our rep. You haven't heard from the ZBA yet.
I have it, they meet next week, Kristen's covering that meeting for me because I will be on vacation, so
Mhm.
I will make sure that she relays the information that you just mentioned. Also, we'll find out if they're sending somebody, if they're not, then Chuck will reach out to you and see if you want to send a number, please.
Okay, well, I think most of the people, him and I went last year. You were away, you're on the wedding, right? Or a destination wedding?
No,
Oh,
it's an anniversary, so. I
oh,
don't
that's
think I
your
can do it.
anniversary.
It's my, yes.
Anniversary of your wedding.
Yes.
Okay. I love that time.
Your anniversary.
You love that time?
Everybody see the boot camp schedule?
So,
Boot camp's got some sessions coming up, developing and implementing comprehensive plans, big picture. That's the one you were talking about, I guess, February 26th. The basics of running a meeting, maybe I should go to that.
By now.
Chuck, I think you
Soaking
got
up the
it.
sun,
Give
solar and
everything.
battery storage. Water, that's the 23rd of April.
I'm gonna do that, because I just did one on battery storage.
It's
It was
gonna
quite
be
interesting.
It's going to be a hot topic.
Yeah, we definitely need to
up
look
in
at the
Albany.
town, because the town says no battery storage now, so it needs to have something to change with them.
Wetlands is on May 28th. Roles of the ZBA and community development, that's June. Role of leadership, local leadership, attracting investment, economic development, that's in July. And. A storm is brewing, how development to address stormwater management, water quality back in September, put that on your calendar. Competitive grant applications in October, and Santa's naughty and nice list is in December. So, it's a lot of good ones.
The first Tuesday of April, I will be down in Florida, so I will not be at that meeting after Easter. That first Tuesday meeting, I will not be in town.
Okay. I'm sure all us folks were here.
Yeah, I'm not going with that.
Okay, you're away next meeting,
I'm
right?
waiting.
Everybody else is good? So you'll be stepping up and active, okay?
Active vote.
Put me in, coach.
We'll be in center field. All right, anything else? Good Lord. No?
Motion to
Check
adjourn
out.
at 7:43 PM.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nobody opposed?